lecture about family communication. This is from chapter 8 of the textbook, and this will go hand in hand with the previous lectures when we talked about personal communication. Now, family structures, there's a whole bunch of terms we're going to talk about when we talk about family structures. And there's a big list on this slide. And these aren't mutually exclusive, but they each have individual aspects that are important to fully understand what they are. All right, the first of these is a kin network, and that is the network and the connections you have with your family and your longtime friends. That's the network that you establish with them, those relationships. A nuclear family, those would be defined as the parents and their biologically related children. Now, extended family is those people, like the same parents and genetically related children, along with their aunts, their uncles, their cousins, and that becomes this broader extended family. Family of origin is your parents with you as a child, the family with you that you start with, your biological parents and their children, or you as their child. Okay, family of descent, that would be if you take a common ancestor that's way back in the past and you look at all of their descendants, the whole family tree. Family of generativity, that would be you and your children or any future children. That's the family of generativity. And now we're going to talk about some others that really overlap a lot. So a single parent family is whether it's by choice through divorce or some other means or by accident that there is one parent that is taking care of the family. Now, a blended family is when two families come together. This could happen through divorce, through some other things because family relationships and relationships between people can be complicated. And so that's when two families come together with then you have like a stepfather, mother, and step brothers, step sisters, things like that. And that's how you end up with a blended family. Now, binuclear family is a similar concept, but it's the idea when there's two families, maybe with single parents, that come together, and instead of forming just one family, like a nuclear family like we talked about before, this is going to be a binuclear family. So it's one family now, but we started with two families essentially, and we kind of merge them into one to create a binuclear family. And then finally, we have a family of choice. And these are the people you choose to treat as family. They can be long-term friends, they can be your actual family, but these are the people that you choose to kind of have that kind of intimate relationship with. Families have complex dynamics. And one thing that comes with complex dynamics is conflict. And there are a number of different ways that they can handle those conflicts. And let's talk about some of those. So, dominating is when one person takes control and they make the decision. An example from the textbook is that you're ordering pizza and you're throwing out like, this is what I want, this is what I want. I want a Hawaiian pizza. I want the ham. I want the pineapple. I want the cheese. But the person doing the ordering takes charge and says, no, we're not putting pineapple on pizza. We are getting pepperoni. Nothing else. Cheese, pepperoni, the basics, simple, and we're sticking to that. Pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. And just making that decision, whether or not, regardless of what anyone else wants, they just make the decision. Integrating is the idea that you come together and after a great deal of discussion, you find a way to fully satisfy everyone's wants, what everyone needs. And no one's given up on what they want, but everyone's getting and what they need and when it's completely satisfied. Compromising is similar, except some people are giving up ground, and instead of being completely satisfied, they're kind of mostly satisfied with the outcome. Obliging is a similar negotiation, except one or more parties kind of gives up on what they want to keep the rest of the group happy. And then avoiding is just not even acknowledging that there's a conflict, whether that's leaving, just not speaking up, just whatever it takes to avoid it to keep there from being a problem. You just avoid it. Keep your head down and keep the conflict from happening. Now, there are a number of these that you may have seen in your life. Dealing with your family, dealing with other people, you've likely seen these different ways of managing conflict. But not all of these are healthy or right for every situation. An example of this is if you have to make a quick decision, like just snap right to it, get right to it, integrating would not be the right way to resolve a conflict because that kind of requires a drawn out process to figure out what everyone wants, what everyone needs, and then decide on how to handle it. And some of these others, they might provide that decisive decision to resolve the conflict, to resolve the problem, but they might leave people feeling angry, upset, completely dissatisfied with and unvalued with as a result, like dominating. If someone just jumps in and makes all the decisions, some others you better believe are going to not be happy about it later. that's the end for this chapter, and I'll see you in the next one.